got a 2008 Mazda CX-9. It has rich conditions. I'm gonna be honest, just right now, if you don't like technical data and you want a quick fix, this is not the place to be. So might as well just kind of kick rocks and go on elsewhere. If you want a little bit more technical information, then just kind of linger around, and we're gonna try to get this resolved. Hopefully this will be some good insight for those who want technical data and trying to resolve their rich conditions. With that said, this vehicle came in with lean conditions and rich conditions simultaneously. I know it's weird. The previous guy that worked on it do watch my videos, and I'm not sure if he happened to see this. This is your, the client you referred, but unfortunately, when you repaired the brake master cylinder, brake booster, when you replaced that, you didn't put the seal back in, which caused the lean condition. What I was noticing, there was some unstable conditions with the mass airflow sensor. It was fluctuating between 1.67 grams up to 4 at idle condition while trying to add fuel. It was weird. Once I determined that, okay, we had a lean condition, pinched off the line going to the intake from the brake booster, and it got better, but unfortunately it got rich. So not only did it swing one way, but it also swing in extreme case another way. Okay. Disconnecting. Once I got that fixed, the mass airflow sensor fixed, the mass airflow values became stable, but now I'm dealing with rich conditions. Start testing things, disconnected the mass airflow sensor. It really didn't do much, but it was stable, but it was still rich, if that makes any sense. It wasn't extremely rich, but it was stable. Some vehicles have a delayed populated information, and if you in open loop fault, it's not going to work properly, but it was in a default state to where it pretty much stayed. So if you disconnected the mass airflow sensor when in negative territory, taking away 20% fuel, it's going to stay there. If you disconnect it while in zero territory, it's going to stay there. So that was like an unreliable test to some degree. So what we're dealing with right now with the brake booster issue fixed, we have stability with our mass airflow sensor. I do want to show you the mass airflow reading. It does fluctuate a little bit, but nothing crazy. Show all, and I did not. There we go, right there. Show selected. We're gonna convert that over. This is the value we have. As a matter of fact, let me show you the engine RPM, so you'll be able to compare your data with mine's. Show all, engine speed. I can't spell engine right. Engine load, engine. There we go, RPM. Show selected. So this is our mass airflow reading. We're around 3.2 to 3.8 grams per second, around 600 and so RPM. But we're still, that's decent. The general rule of thumb with grams per second and mass airflow, you want around the displacement of the engine at around 500 RPM, and we're making that. I don't expect rich conditions with around the displacement with that general rule of thumb, but we are taking away 20% of fuel. With that said, scoping injectors aren't my strong suit. I had to sleep on this for a little bit because I rarely get defective injectors. I've had them. I've got some YouTube shorts about them, but in this particular case, it runs perfectly fine. No misfires, no smoking, no excessive rich conditions that you can smell through the tailpipe, but it's just running rich across the board. And we have good mass airflow values. So with that said, I got the oscilloscope hooked up, and looking at our value, looking at the waveform with just a random injector. So this is bank 2. I can't remember how Ford had theirs lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this should be number 5 here then. I'm on the signal side today. We're on the signal side because we see a signal. we have our pull down and hold. That's the opening time, and then the release and the collapse of the circuit and the descend of that dwindling voltage there. So what I'm not seeing here, and I was looking up multiple different waveforms for injectors, I'm not seeing an aggressive pintle hump on the end here. And look at this hold time here, like it's not a rapid sharp decline. Call me crazy, maybe it's the time base, but it's not coming down as it should. And it was my fault that because I should have taken a waveform from the injectors I've done before in the past, and I did not. And again, it's rare that I get these. So what I want to do, we saw our fuel trims. I do have 3 injectors from the salvage yard. My hands are actually from the gas. So I do have 3 injectors, and these do perform differently. I'm going to simply just replace 2 that I can get to without having to pull all the intake off. And I can take these back if I want to, because I did get the warranty from LKQ, so I can actually try these and experiment and return them and get my money back and buy new ones. So what I want to do, we're going to clean this up a little bit, install these, see if our fuel trims change. All right, see if they change, see if our pintle hump comes about, and if so, I mean, logically, we're just simply dealing with bad injectors. I mean, you can call it Swaptronics or what you want, but I mean, if I have the option to be able to experiment and try them, then take them back, man, I will. Take it how you want. This is for educational purposes. I do want to put new injectors in here, but I have about a 70% conviction, because again, I'm not the greatest with waveforms, but at the same time, if there's not an aggressive a notable pintle hump here, and this decline isn't as rapid as I've seen from other good waveforms, then I want to put injectors in here. Again, the mass airflow is good, the oxygen sensors are good. I did observe the upstream and downstream. They're working fine. I changed the conditions, created a link condition, it responds, fuel trims respond, and we're obviously in a static rich condition right now. And these injectors, I can about guarantee you, are going to be the problem. This is the only thing that I'm noticing. There's no notable pintle hump and this decline here. So let me replace 2 of these injectors. We're going to get this hooked back up. As a matter of fact, hold on, I know this is a dry run here, but look at this pintle hump on the one I'm going to install. Look how obvious that is. Let's go to the one that's in question. See how it's missing? It's really not there. So we know our fuel trims are -21 for bank 2. Let's pull the 2 out, replace them, and see if our fuel trims drop, and see what our waveforms are looking like. Because if that's the case, then we know we need to observe the pintle hump and make sure it is pronounced, unlike the ones that are in question. Before I get started, I just want to say I did make a conscious effort 2 days ago to clean these injectors directly at the fuel rail, and I did an aggressive treatment and it didn't do anything. So I did use fuel treatment cleaner, I did use the B12, didn't work. So I'm not a big fan of those anyway, because they just, if the injectors failed, they're bad, just replace them. There's nothing strong enough to be able to clean these unless you take them out and actually back flush them. So with that said, I tried something I was against with no avail, and it still didn't work. This is just soap and water. I want to hit the base of the injectors so it'll lube them up a little bit so I can get them out, versus having to use some penetrating oil. Some dielectric grease on the seals here, and I'm going to slide these right back. Okay, I'm aware of the risk associated with using electric around gas. It's my life, do what I want. All right, moving on with life. We're hooked up on the only bad one, which is going to be the far right, and mind you, all of them had the same waveform. Here's our two new used ones, and let's look up at our fuel trims and see if it made any notable change. Let me start it up. Back running. Let's check on our fuel trims. I didn't save my data. So bank 2 should be going, look at that. Yep, look how it's changing on bank 2. All right, we're gonna let that do its thing on bank 2. As a matter of fact, let's look at the short term. Bank 1, bank 2. So that's still taking away 21%. Gonna let that level out. Turn 2, 1. All right, so we're on our waveforms now. Red trace is the defective one, and the green trace is the newer one. Let's look at, here's the defective one. We have very little pintle hump here. And let's go to the newer one, the used one we put in, and look how more pronounced that pintle hump is on that one. Let's look at our fuel trims and see what we got going on here. And adding one short term on 1 is at 3. Let's see, short term on 2 is at 18, negative 18. Let's see how this decides to level out. I'm gonna probably have to let it sit for a little while. Let me let it level out for a little bit, see what it do. It hasn't been no more than probably 60 seconds. And look at our fuel trims on 2. Look how beautiful they are now. They're below 10. So whichever injector that looked the worst on the waveform, I got it replaced, and that's what resolved this fuel trim issue on bank 2. Bank 1 still has the problem child. One thing I could do is swap everything over from bank 2 to bank 1 and then search for the bad one on bank 2 and replace that singular one. But whichever the injector was, which was that center one that looked the worst, that was the one that was potentially sticking. Even though it didn't have misfires, I probably could have observed spark plugs to determine it, but that pintle hump wasn't there. I still could change this one on the end here, but it seems like I'm just going to wind up buying all new injectors and just replacing them. That's the thing, unless I go to the junkyard and buy some more. But for the price of the injectors, I probably could get some new ones online. Don't know which route I want to take. I'm gonna cut this video real short. We already got the information we needed. Basically, if you're looking for a defective injector and you have good mass airflow value readings, it's stable, but your conditions are still rich, you have good downstream and upstream O2 sensors, and they're responding to extreme conditions when you create them, you have a good good purge valve. If that's working fine, not stuck open, causing lean or rich conditions, scope your injectors, look for that pintle hump. look for that pintle hump and look at it. It's still just working great, working amazing. So the only bank I need to resolve is that one in the back. And what I probably could do is just, like I say, swap them and then look for that defective one in the front, replace as necessary. I did pull out some injectors from another vehicle at the junkyard too, and I just left them up there somewhere. So whichever one I discover that's bad, I can just probably go back up there, get it, and swap it out. But we got our answer. We know what we need to look for in the future. If you're having rich conditions, observe the waveforms, look for that pintle. That's pretty much it. We have good signals, and good hold time for the injectors. They're consistent. There's no issues here. So mind you, my issues are normal. I have a good normal running engine. I did not diagnose, I didn't have any misfires. So I was looking for a causation for the rich running condition. If you have a misfire, you're dealing with something totally different, and you're going to have to check hold times with your injectors and signals. You have that information that I provided here on the computer with the waveform. I think I provided a lot more information than necessary. This was a legitimate fix, observing that pintle hump. I'm going to see what happens when I swap those, do my thing to get this vehicle fully fixed and sent back to the customer. So let me do my thing. If anything happened, I'll definitely update, but hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, how to return some more work. See you next one.